here in Atlanta, reporting in front of the Georgia Capitol building. And what you see behind me is actually a number of different protesters who are saying that they're trying to stop the steal. Rosalind, well, what I can tell you is that Russell County Sheriff Heath Taylor tells me that they have now identified that body. There have been 2 confirmed deaths at the location where I am at now, here at Dillingham Street and Stanford Road here in Phoenix City. We don't need a neighborhood watch. We need neighborhood improvements to tackle crime prevention here in the Fountain City. Now, both of these organizations are doing just that to help people overcome obstacles who may have otherwise been overlooked in society. A lot of this, what people are calling vaccine hesitancy, has to do with people who are worried about how quickly the COVID vaccines were rolled out. This property behind me actually had mattresses, bags of garbage, flooring, you name it. And Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson says after multiple requests from nearby residents, they have started that cleanup process. A recount is possible for the presidential race if the losing candidate calls for it and has within 0.5 of a margin or less of the winning candidate. But that can only happen after the state certifies all 159 of its counties by Friday. United States District Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner is working on creating an order, hopefully by tonight, that'll resolve ongoing litigation after hearing convincing testimony from Muskogee County Election Supervisor Nancy Boren. Where I am at now here in Plains, Georgia, is actually home to former President Jimmy Carter. Governor Brian Kemp says that roughly $550 million will be allocated and given to the Department of Community Affairs so that money can be distributed to landlords and different community organizations who help with rental assistance. All the 911 dispatchers here at the Columbus Police Department say that they are here and ready to help no matter what your situation is, even on Christmas Day. But for now, they all have one thing to say.
You got midtown, go ahead.
Merry Christmas! Alabama was one of the few states left who had not yet opened up that eligibility for all Alabamians to receive a COVID vaccine. But the Columbus Police Department is down 105 officers. That is roughly 1/5 of the total amount of their police force. If 80-year-old Miss Sharon Hightower had received an email like this one, then chances are she probably would not have registered for a second time with the West Central Health District to receive a COVID vaccine. The bottom line is this, folks. If you want to go ahead and register for the COVID-19 vaccine, go ahead and make sure you do that. But make sure you first only register once and make sure it's registered in the West Central Health District. And as for Hightower's specific case, I have connected her with someone who can help offer her further instruction on just how to hopefully get the COVID-19 vaccine here in just the next couple of days. District Attorney Mark Jones is seeking to indict the former 2 Hamilton police officers for violation of oath of office.
I don't own no slaves. My folks didn't own no slaves.
In the disturbing body cam footage that captures Hamilton Chief of Police Gene Almond and Patrolman John Brooks, the 2 can be heard talking about slavery, which Atlanta city official they would rather have sex with, and the shooting of Rayshard Brooks, just ahead of a Black Lives Matter protest in the city of Hamilton during the summer. According to Hamilton City Attorney Ron Iddens, along with captivating the nation's attention, District Attorney Mark Jones has launched his own investigation.
Mark contacted me and sent me a letter requesting that we produce their oaths of office and their personnel files. He also requested additional operating procedures that we might have here within the city.
We think these things and think that those are acceptable things to think as a police officer in this day and age. They are not. We categorically reject those thoughts in this office, and if you think those things while you're doing your police work with your oath, we will come after you.
Meanwhile, residents of the Hamilton community are still reeling after watching the leaked body cam footage.
To hear that the men in blue, they're supposed to be in uniform, are supposed to be here protecting us, and they having a conversation like this, and they always are saying back the blue, but they're bashing us.
It's like you done killed him 27 times.
The city, along with Jones, will be revisiting court cases Almond issued charges on while employed. 3 of those cases are scheduled to appear in Hamilton Municipal Court on Wednesday.
In the absence of an arresting officer, then a determination has to be made by the court at that time as to whether to dismiss the charge, grant a continuance, or to proceed in some other fashion.
Go over there and get his gun and kill him?
Yeah.
Residents say the actions of Almond and Brooks is evidence of the ongoing divide in the community.
That just hurt. The little bit I saw, I didn't want to see anymore. It's just enough to just break you all the way down.
Son of a what's the matter with these people?
Now, according to the City of Hamilton personnel files, both former Chief of Police Gene Almond and Patrolman John Brooks were both previously employed with the Columbus Police Department prior to their employment at the Hamilton Police Department. And WTVM has actually sent an open records request to further look into their personnel records at the Columbus Police Department. Live in Hamilton, I'm Cindy Centofanti for WTVM News Leader 9. This case is not going away, and charges do need to be brought against the two Columbus police officers suspected to have a part in Hector Ariola's death for alleged use of excessive force.
We can't just ignore a death in the community just because it involves officers.
District Attorney Mark Jones is referring to a 2017 case where Hector Ariola called Columbus police in the early morning hours of February 9th to conduct a welfare check on his mother. According to police, officers found Ariola outside high on methamphetamine and placed him under arrest for disorderly conduct.
Ma, they're going to kill me!
Following a scuffle with police where officers can be seen on top of Ariola, one sitting on him and the other crushing down on him while handcuffed, Ariola was taken into custody and died less than 24 hours later. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation initially reporting his cause of death, methamphetamine toxicity. But recently, that was changed to homicide.
The medical examiner received additional information that was made available and showed that the altercation between law enforcement and Mr. Ariola were a contributing factor in his death.
D.A. Jones says that could lead to future indictments for the two officers, Brian Dudley and Mike Aguilera, who placed Ariola under arrest.
Hector's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then by the time they get him up, he's limp. That would indicate that Hector potentially died immediately after the officer's interaction with them.
Jones says he intends to charge the officers with aggravated assault and murder. He says he hopes to present the case before a grand jury this year. And as for Hector's family, they say they will not find peace until justice is served.
And the pressure is on this city to hold these people accountable for Hector's death.
He was a human just like all of us, and he meant a lot to us and our family.
Hector was my only son, and I miss him greatly. For the remainder of my life, I will live with that burden, and I will live missing my son the rest of my life. But I will not stop. I will be resilient.
Deputy Cynthia Zyloff, better known as Lieutenant Z here in Columbus, and her deaf therapy dog, Beethoven, regularly visit the patients here at the Columbus Hospice Care. The sheer joy that washes over these patients as soon as they see Beethoven and her walk into this room is nothing less than remarkable.
All right.
Just 10 years shy of a century old, Mary Frank is limited in what she can do and who she can see because of the coronavirus. Loneliness is a feeling she knows all too well, but today she found a connection with a 100-pound Bull Terrier mix who brought happiness back into her life.
It's wonderful. Makes me feel good. I mean, I'm her here, and to think he is, and he can't hear.
Beethoven, originally a rescue from Paws Humane Society, was adopted by the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office and trained for several months before becoming a certified therapy dog. Along with his handler, Deputy Cynthia Zyloft, these two make frequent visits to local hospitals, inmates at the Muskogee County Jail, nursing homes, and hospices.
Seeing Beethoven make that impact on people, I consider it more than a privilege to be a part of this person's life in their last days. And it's going to be the last time that they see a dog.
Staff members at Columbus Hospice say in their line of work, it is challenging having to see death all too often. But when they see Beethoven's 4 furry paws strut down the hallway, they get some much needed relief.
He is my deep breath, and that just gives us the relief from the times that we go through.
We are able to mentally decompress and have some joy with Beethoven, and he brings smiles to us.
Beethoven, although deaf, is no stranger to the spotlight. He and Zyloft were selected as the 2020 Volunteers Are the Foundation of Hospice Award. And as for Frank, she says Beethoven is just what the doctor ordered.
It gives you a pickup to think, I'm, complaining about this leg, complaining about this, but then this poor dog, he can't complain to nobody.
Beethoven was also featured in National Geographic's book called Loyal, and that features him alongside with 37 other service and therapy dogs, expressing the way that they change people's lives every day. Back to you.
Well, Cindy, what a great pair providing a great service. So has COVID impacted Beethoven's therapy visits at all during this time?
Jason, yes, it did greatly impact them. When the pandemic first started, all of their visits actually came to a halt. But now, as nursing homes and hospices like the one that you see behind me are easing up on those restrictions, they're actually back to all of their regular visits. Now, a man is in critical condition after being shot in Eufaula. Eufaula police say that calls came in around 3 Friday afternoon about a person being shot on Norman Street. Now, when they arrived, police say that they found a man with 2 gunshot wounds to his upper body. The victim was then flown to a hospital in Columbus for treatment. Well, 20 people have now been confirmed dead, with 128 still unaccounted for in the tragic collapse of the Surfside, Florida condominium. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to News Leader 9 Sunday morning. I'm Cindy Centofanti. Well, our top story this morning, the Justice Department announcing they will file a lawsuit against the Peach State over the new voting restrictions law. And the East Alabama Medical Center opened a new freestanding ER in Auburn to help accommodate the growing East Alabama population. COVID-19 shots produced by Johnson & Johnson were suspended at a vaccine distribution site in Metro Atlanta on Friday after 8 people experienced adverse reactions. I was reading on your talent sheet and fact sheet that you do voice impressions, and that really intrigued me. So can we have a little bit of detail about what this is?
Absolutely. I love doing it, so I'm glad that you asked. I can do the Lilo and Stitch voice, so.
Okay, let's hear it.
Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I can't tell the difference.
You.
It sounded like it came right from the movies.